Put your head on my shoulder, hold me in your arms, baby.
Mr. Anson Williams, hello, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Nice to be here.
How many times have you heard this, that I grew up watching you?
Oh, just a couple.
Just a couple? I mean, it seems to be following your whole career.
Well, at the time of Happy Days, there were only 3 networks.
Right.
So, there were 60-some million people watching a week. So,
right.
We all grew up with each other.
I was born at the end of the 70s and got to watch pretty much the end of this series, but all over again when they started syndicating, especially in New York.
Yeah.
And one of the things I got to ask about is watching Happy Days and then watching Battle of the Network Stars.
Right.
And it was also very notorious for Happy Days having a pretty kick-ass softball team.
Yes, we did.
So
yes,
whenever you see clips of this and you look and you go, that's the Fonz, and then there's this guy in really short shorts with high socks, and they didn't do any kind of like wrestling kayfabe thing, like you got to stay in character if you're going to be out in public like this?
No, it was, you're in it, you're not of it.
Right.
And the one thing with the Happy Days set, especially Gary Marshall, he used it as a school. He said, yeah, you're actors, but you're not going to be actors all your life, especially you, Anson.
Right.
And he said,
that's not good to be called
he said,
out.
No, he knew my entrepreneurial abilities.
Right.
And all this. And we used the time to learn so many areas of the business. That's why I'm still directing. Ron's, of course, is huge, and Don Most. We're all still involved in the entertainment business because we had a good mentor. We had a good teacher. We took the opportunity at hand and created other opportunities.
So Gary was really the one saying, look, this is going well. This is good. It's not going to last forever.
You bet.
You need to learn. It's like when your parents say, yes, if you want to pursue this as your career, go ahead, but at least, get a backup degree when you go to college.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah. And so I would, going back to my book, Singing to a Bulldog.
Oh, we haven't plugged that yet. Let's do that right now. Singing to a Bulldog, from Happy Days to Hollywood director and the unlikely mentor who got me there.
Right. Well, the unlikely mentor was a man by the name of Willie Turner. When I was 15 years old, I was a pretty unfocused, not confident kid, pretty much a mess. And we weren't rich, so anything you wanted outside of food on the table, you had to go out and earn. So I got a job as an assistant janitor at a department store, Leonard's department store. And my boss was a man by the name of...
Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, Burbank, California. Yeah. My boss was the head janitor. His name was Willie Turner. He was black. He was in his 50s, alcoholic and illiterate. And yet this man had the magic for my life. He's the first person that talked to me, not at me. And he called his janitorial room the talk room. And he had 2 oil drum cans there. And when we weren't mopping or sweeping, he'd be talking. He goes, you don't look at the mountain, boy. You climbs the mountain. And he said, you got to do something special. I got me a feeling. That's how he spoke. But this man, without this man, I wouldn't be talking to you today.
How long did you have interaction with him?
2 years.
2 years.
And after those 2 years, I found me. And I moved forward. And I started climbing my mountain. And in terms of Happy Days, in terms of entrepreneurship, early on at Leonard's department store, I learned marketing skills. I literally created slogans and things for the store. And I was able to take those skills years later to Happy Days because when the show went on the air, we weren't making a lot of money, not like today.
Right.
And why should we? No one knew us. But it's becoming hot. And Willie always said, you move forward, boy. You find opportunity. You go with your instinct. And my instinct was, well, I'm not getting a lot of money here, and I'm looking at the Partridge Family and David Cassidy singing like crazy doing concerts, and the Partridge Family singing like crazy doing concerts. I kind of sing. Maybe I can sell Gary to put a band on the show. So I track Gary down. He's busy. He goes, I'm busy. Hey, I'm busy. Talk to me later. No. Okay, quick. What is it? So I'm walking with him. I give him the elevator pitch in 90 seconds. You got girls. You got cars. You need a band on the show. He goes, band. Yeah. You sing, right? He goes, yeah. He goes, you good? I go, I'm okay. Yeah, I like that. I used to be a drummer. Yeah, Arnold's, Richie sax, Ralphie piano. Yeah, I like that. Good. Yeah, go pick a song with Bobby and yeah, we'll try it out.
But you were the only one actually doing something, right? You were the only one. You were singing. Everyone else was faking.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But what happened? So he turns back to me and says, but you're singing to a bulldog. I go, why? He said, well, that way, if you're good, I get laughs. If you're bad, I get laughs. You're singing to a bulldog. And sure enough, that first episode, I'm singing one of Willie's favorite songs in life. I'm all shook up, and I'm singing it to a bulldog. But that moment, that song, that time got me a record contract, got me booked all over the world, started doing concerts, opened up my life way beyond music. That's why the book's called Singing to a Bulldog, because Happy Days, Jump the Shark came out of Happy Days, right? Jump the Shark is the precise moment when success starts to decline. Singing to a Bulldog is the precise moment when you start to climb. So it's like, what are you doing today? I'm singing to a bulldog. I'm getting that job. Whatever. It's the opposite of Jump the Shark. So because of those, entrepreneurial skills, because of Willie, because of that inspiration, because of giving me that insight, I was able to like add something to that show out of nothing and actually be in charge of something for the first time in my life in show business. I was in charge of that music. I was in charge of picking it. I had a responsibility.
Do you know who coined the phrase "Jump the Shark"? He works here.
Is that who?
Yeah.
Why is he still working?
I
heard they
he made
paid
a ton
him
of money,
fortune.
but he also works for the Howard Stern show.
Wow.
So he loves what he does.
Yeah.
I know he made a lot of money, but
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't matter how much money you make. Now it's not a job. Now it's just, this is my hobby, or this is something for me to do.
But isn't it great though? He was smart enough to see that, to figure that out.
Developed it, made a lot of money, sold the site and everything, made a lot more money.
Yeah.
And forever in the lexicon of Jump the Shark based off your show.
Right. And now hopefully singing to Bulldog is the opposite.
When was the last time you saw Willie?
I was 18 years old. He died when I was 19 years old.
Oh, so we never even got to see your success.
And it's so funny. The underlying theme of the book really is never, ever judge anybody by what they look like, whatever. Judge from your heart. He said, someone so ordinary can be extraordinary for your life. And years later, now, all of us, you and I together, we've met famous people, all the glamour, all this, and nobody had the effect of Willie Turner. I wouldn't be here. There would be no stories to tell without Willie Turner. Because even in the book, Singing to Bulldog, there's all these cool stories. Getting kidnapped by the President of the United States daughter. How Happy Days started. How I almost didn't get Happy Days. Meeting Elvis in a parking lot. On and on and on. Crazy stories.
And you learn that lesson before even getting into the business, because there's that old adage of be nice to who you meet on the way up, because you'll see them again on the way down.
Or you're the only reason you're up is because of them.
Right.
So this book, it's not story. It's not story one, story two. It's lesson one, lesson two. Every story, no matter how cool, has a bigger story to it, where I can hopefully bring the reader into talk room to get those same tactile lessons I got. I think it's evergreen, and there's something there for everybody to improve their life, to inspire them. And I wanted them to have those same lessons I did. I wanted to pay Willie forward. So even though there's a great story, it always goes back to a bigger story. And that's the reason I wrote the book.
Well, I was just going to ask that too, where you said it was only about a 2-year span where you were working with this gentleman. And then he died when you were 19. So that's about 2 years after that you have left Leonard. Had he still been around to see your success, or even like the beginning of it, with your pay it forward, you're using his advice and applying it to your life and what have you, would you have gone back and done something for him? Does that run through your mind? Like, man, if he was alive, I would have gotten him this. He loved this old record, or maybe I would have got him a new car or something like that.
I'm paying him back. I'm paying him forward. To me, I want him to keep living. Right. I want his lessons to keep, I want him to keep growing today. So my gift to him is paying him forward. And if he was alive today, I think he would say, we did good, boy. We did good. Move on. Because his whole thing was move forward.
I want to go back to Happy Days for a tiny bit, where you were talking about Gary Marshall. How free was he with being hands-on as far as the way the studio ran or the operations and seeing, I mean, you were all there for behind-the-scenes stuff, but actually being part of the process outside of being the actors and reading the scripts?
He insisted.
Go talk to the lighting guy. Go look how they're switching the lenses on the camera here.
He set it up. You know how I learned to direct? I stood next to John Schlesinger directing Day of the Locust. That was my teacher. Or Roman Polanski doing back scenes on the back lot at Paramount. That was my teacher. Or watching every Grease musical number being filmed. So my teachers were the working directors. Gary made that possible. He also said, come to the writing sessions. Everybody, the whole cast included a lot of the iconic stuff in the show. Don Moe said, I still got it. That came from him. Right. Mr. Mrs. C, all that was from me. I said, why are we saying Cunningham? Why not just Mr. Mrs. C? Henry, every part of that character he created. I mean, so much was added by the cast because Gary was open for input, for collaboration. You
didn't do your first directing gig officially till after Happy Days, when you were doing an after-school special.
Right.
I saw in the notes that you said Ron Howard helped you get to that point.
Very much.
Did you have a point maybe in the later years of Happy Days where you were thinking like maybe they would let me direct a scene of the episode or let me direct an episode, or did you not feel that that was appropriate?
We had such a great director on Happy Days. His name was Jerry Paris. He directed the Dick Van Dyke shows. He was the next door neighbor, the dentist.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jerry. You couldn't have, he was the greatest comedy director in the world. talk about a teacher.
Right.
You know, even Ron Howard says, whenever I direct comedy to this day, I feel Jerry on my shoulder. That's not funny. That's not fun. No, you could do it this way. So no, we never did that. But I did. It did inspire me to produce. In fact, I produced in 1980 a film, and I wrote the story called Skyward with Bette Davis. Ron directed it. We both exec produced it. So I was producing from 1980 on, and the show ended in 84. Producing is kind of cold. You're kind of away from everything. I liked the tactfulness of being on the set. And Ron said, you should direct. I go, oh, great, a third career. So I had in development a story I had co-written called No Greater Gift, an after-school special about organ donorship. And because Ron backed me, meaning if I screwed up, he would take over this little show, I was able to convince the network to let me hire myself for my show. And it was like fish to water. I loved it. We won the Humanitas Award for writing. I mean, it became this big hit. Then the next script was Lone Star Kid with James Earl Jones, which I co-wrote the script, exec produced, directed that. That got, and then I started getting hired from there. But I had to create my own destiny as a director by creating shows and hiring myself. And since then, you know, it's been a great career since '85.
Did you have something that maybe, I don't want to say regret, but do you look back and like, man, I wish we could have done different, or maybe I should have said something about that because it didn't feel like it came out the right way? Was there something that happened in the show that maybe you felt should have been changed?
No, well, no, I know it was Kismet, the show. The chemistry was above the page. No, there was nothing you could change. Once Don and Ron left, no matter what they did, if you want to know where Jump the Shark started, it wasn't the episode. That was it.
Right.
Because you take those two pieces away, you can't replace it because it's bigger than the page. It's a chemistry that's from the heavens.
I always thought they shouldn't have revealed Jenny Piccolo. I think the mystery of just telling stories about this girl you never saw, you know, because it became a trend, you know, on Cheers, you never saw Norman's wife, you never saw the brother's wife on Frasier, and then they still do that to this day where there's always one character referred to, but you never see. I think that maybe they should have just left well enough alone with that. But that's just me as a,
I think Kathy Silvers would have been mad. But I never would have met Phil Silvers if she hadn't showed up.
Oh, really?
That was their father.
Oh, wow. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
Well,
Phil
he's
Silvers.
quite a big deal.
Yeah. He came to the set.
He's done a lot of TV.
He played her father on the show, on a segment of Happy Days.
Let me ask you about a different show then, WKRP. Did you ever watch that show?
I love that show. In fact, Howard Hessman, we hired him for Skyward with Bette Davis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know you were mentioned in an episode? And by sheer luck, I happened to watch it last night.
No.
There's an episode where Mr. Carlson and his wife are in the office, and they just found out that she's pregnant.
Right.
And they're trying to go back through their calendars, trying to figure out when this might have happened.
Right.
And the wife goes through her calendar, and she said, oh, it was the night that Anson Williams was hosting The Tonight Show. And I went to look that up, and I'm like, that must have been a throwaway line because I couldn't find anything about you doing The Tonight Show.
I've never been on The Tonight Show. Merv Griffin all the time. Mike Douglas all the time.
Right, yeah.
Never
I didn't remember
show.
anything about you on The Tonight Show. So I went looking at it, I'm like, because it was driving me nuts last night when I was prepping
But that's why they put it in.
Right.
They knew it would drive you crazy.
Well, back then, nobody had the information at their fingertips to go and look that up.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh, I guess he did, and I missed the episode.
Right.
Now I'm Googling everything. I'm like, this didn't happen.
Right.
And then I feel like an idiot. I'm like, oh, it's an old gag. What am I getting so upset
that's
over?
Funny. I didn't know that.
Singing to a Bulldog is the book. You can get it on Amazon and wherever books are sold. Is there
Barnes
an
and Noble,
audiobook as well?
Not yet, but there you can download it. You can buy the book, or you can go to Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble too.
You had said about Robin Williams,
yes.
The Alien episode. Everyone thought was going to be the worst episode ever made.
Yeah.
And the original actor left or quit or something.
Yeah.
And Robin came in.
Yeah.
Who was the original actor? Do you remember?
You know, I don't remember. It was a Greek name, and I can't remember. But I know, it was the worst.
It's like Eric Stoltz with Back to the Future.
Yeah.
They got rid of him, and Michael J. Fox came in, and the thing blew up.
Well, honestly, the script was horrible, awful, terrible. I mean, and the actor, poor guy,
just couldn't
even. I mean,
make anything. With it.
And he quit. And it's Wednesday, and we shoot Friday night. Wednesday's the last day rehearsal. Thursday's camera blocking, mechanics.
Right.
Friday you shoot it.
And there's
nothing.
nothing.
Gary Marshall says, "Does anybody know a funny Martian?" And Al Molinaro goes, "Hey, there's this kid in my my Harvey Lembeck improv class, Robin Williams. He's funny." Well, anyway, he comes in. It's Thursday, camera blocking day. The writers are never on the set. I come in late because I'm not in the first few scenes. Walk in, you could hear a pin drop. Every writer on the set is writing down everything going on. Jerry Paris looks at me. He's a genius. He's a genius. And there's Robin Williams making magic, creating,
they just let him ad-lib.
improving the whole episode. And nanu, on it. And all of a sudden,
So that wasn't even written? That was,
no, Robin Williams made his whole platform. He
they
created
said,
that.
you're this alien, here's this scenario,
He created
go with it.
every scene he was in was improv. And it became, 24 hours later, one of the best shows in the history
Right.
of television,
Anytime they
all created by Robin Williams.
Anytime they do flashback to classic television with Happy Days, if it's not the shark jumping,
Right.
it's Fonzie in Arnold,
Yeah.
where he's moving in slow
Yeah,
motion
yes.
and then like that, and coming out of the magic field that
Right.
the alien had put on him.
I got another thing. You know what the most watched Happy Days? The most watched episode in the history of Happy Days?
Is it the one where Fonzie's doing the Russian dancing?
Nope.
No.
Potsy Love, when I sang Put Your Head on My Shoulders. It's only
Really?
highest rated one in the 10.5 years.
Do people bring out a screenshot to sign that when they come see you at places?
Never.
No.
Not that one.
Did you take anything home from the Happy Days set? Do you have the big A from Arnold's? Like, somebody has to have that.
I was so bad. I could have had one of Henry's jackets.
Yeah.
And could have bought my house with it. I could have had the middle booth of Arnold's before they burned it down. Oh, I have my jacket. I have my
Your Letterman jacket.
My Letterman's jacket. That's what I got.
All right. Well, I guess that'll have to do.
Terrible.
You ever go to the Smithsonian and go, what could have been?
Yeah, I'm looking at it going, I said no. I said no. Oh, no, I know. It was the last day of filming. They're cleaning out the wardrobe department. Mickey, who's head of wardrobe, goes, hey, you want this? Nah, that's okay. There were 4 jackets ever made.
All right, we're out of time.
I'm done.
Anson Williams. The book is Singing to a Bulldog, From Happy Days to Hollywood Director and the Unlikely Mentor That Got Me There. Mr. Williams, thank you so much. And then on your way out here, if you will, would you sign my Potsy doll?
Yes, I will.
All right. Thank you very much.
Tonight.